Hello, hello, children of the cosmos. It's yours truly, Mr. G, calling once again, and you're listening to Unidentified Education. Well, the shields may be down, but the antenna is up, and we are ready to receive from the mothership. So let's begin. Weather's finally changing here in Texas. It's getting a little bit warmer. I was sweating, and here in Texas, we went through a crazy freeze and no electricity, no water. Now it's in the 70s, so it's going up and going down. It's going up and going down, and my body can't keep up with it. I'm getting older. I'm 34. My body is just like, what is going on? It's just like, geez. People from Texas, welcome. That's Texas for you. Yeah, well, it's getting pretty harsh. We were at -9. Now we're at 70 degrees. My body's like doesn't know what to boil or freeze. So, and I'm a big person, so moving around, I get all sweaty. So I know you guys heard about Perseverance landing on Mars. We're getting back really clear, almost 4K looking photos, but it seems like they're doctoring them, like they're photoshopping them, because there was one of the night sky. Now, I don't know what the night sky looks like on Mars, but it showed like all the stars, and it was no clouds. Like, I know the day it's kind of smoggy, but at night it looked photoshopped. So hopefully they're not photoshopping everything. It's really nothing to look at. I know it's just like a desolate desert of red, and I know they think there's water, frozen water, or possibly an ocean under the surface. So those look pretty cool. And it has like a helicopter that detaches and it's going to fly around, which probably is going to give us a better idea of what's actually on the surface. Now, if there's anything on there like a Martian base or something like that, we're going to find out really quick with that helicopter. So that's pretty cool. And there was that one movie where those astronauts go on to Mars, and that robot starts to turn on everybody, starts killing everybody, and then it leads them to like that weird face. And I don't know, was it Mars or the Moon? I'm not sure. I think it was Val Kilmer who starred in it, and he took his helmet off. And then there was one with Ice Cube, but I think that's a different movie. Yeah, but anyways, so it looks like Maine is a new hotspot for UFO activity. Let's see. It says Portland, Maine. In August 2014, a man walked his dog, looked up at the night sky over the city. That's when he saw a mystery. A group of white lights, brighter than stars, traveling faster than satellites. See, how did he know there were satellites? So, okay. Traveling faster than satellites were skimming the tree line horizon just behind the San Jacinto apartment building. He was watching as San Jacinto. He watched as the orbs abruptly changed formation, pivoting 90 degrees and streaking away. They were gone in 5 seconds. The dog continued staring at the sky, where the lights vanished for another half a minute. He says, I have never seen anything like this until now. I have been skeptical of UFO sightings, the man wrote in his report to the National UFO Reporting Center. Wow, he just saw lights. Imagine if he saw an actual landing or something. It just says official reports stretching back to at least 1946 of Maine UFO sightings. Why are there UFOs why are they interested in Maine? What goes on in Maine? I'm not hating on Maine, but what's out there? They're not even rare. In the past 40 years, UFO investigators, the federal government of the Bangor Daily News reported nearly 1,000 reports. The latest last month, recent data showed sightings on a steady rise since 2018. So I don't know why they're choosing Maine. Maybe because it's so boring out there and no one's not really gonna see them. So they decide to, flash and do some maneuvers out there. So whether you believe it or not, the numbers don't lie. It says Maine is a UFO hotspot, and it's getting hotter. So if you want to go see UFOs, don't go to Roswell, go to Maine. UFOs over Utah. Elon Musk project mistaken for extraterrestrial visitors. Reports of a line of UFOs seen flying in Utah's stormy skies started circulating around 5:30 a.m. Thursday. With the storm clouds rolling in that morning, did people really see something? No. It was Starlink. Starlink satellites help provide internet services around the earth. They are a project of Elon Musk. I don't know why I went British there. Starlink satellites help provide internet services around the earth. They are a project of Elon Musk's and have been placed in the sky by SpaceX. Because the satellites catch reflections from the sun, they can appear to be in a new constellation or UFOs as they pass by. So if you see them in a line, they're probably satellites, especially if they're just standing still. The UFO maneuvers that they pull off. It's up, it's erratic fast. It's never just in one spot. So know your UFO lights, know your formations out there so you're not getting confused. All right, and that's it for the news. I'm going to take a quick break, and when we get back, it's going to get a little scary. So if you don't like scary things, then prepare to be scared. We'll be right back after these messages. Children of the cosmos, it's going to get a little spooky. I want to talk about the story I read, and it happened in Gary, Indiana back in 2011. It was interesting to me because not only am I interested in extraterrestrials and UFOs and many other subjects, the afterlife. The afterlife is a mystery to most, and I don't get too much into religion, but this story is it's really interesting. So back in 2011, Gary, Indiana, there was a family that moved into a home, and what happened there was seen by not only the family but by the CPS workers and the local police. And what they say they saw was a series of events that could only be described as a possession, and they believed that the basement was a portal to hell. And I know that in the Bible, demons are explained as angels that have turned their back and rebelled against God in heaven, so they kind of are damned here. So it's interesting to hear the stories about demons. And so what happened was a mother by the name of we won't say her name, but she had children. She had 3 children, and they moved into this home, and it's all caught on camera. And the police are convinced that the case is real. They believe the mother, they believe the children, and there was the stories that they said and they saw were their children was possessed, and it was not only were they possessed, they would chant, and they called it a satanic chanting, and they saw an actual demon manifest before them, which, if you're caught up with your paranormal terms, it takes a lot of energy for that to happen, for anything to manifest into an actual shadow or a person. And the police also have audio of what appears to be as a demon saying, "Hey." And when you watch the video, and you can look for it, you just type in maybe possessed home, Gary, Indiana. These stories, the story was so it was mostly like the other stories where they were possessed, and their eyes would roll back, and they would their bodies would be flown against the wall, and as the police officers investigated that home, it was a DCS worker, and she touched a mysterious ooze that was dripping in the house, and she got so scared. And if you know what this mystery ooze, I think it's called ectoplasm, she was so scared she never returned. So I guess that's why they brought the police. They even brought a Catholic priest in there. And these children were possessed. They were going into seizures, and they were chanting, and their eyes would roll back. So the footage shows what they call it was kind of shanky, and the camera pans back and forth. I don't know why, but it should be. So the rooms were just it was messy in there, and they show them descending into the basement, and it was a weird cellar, and it was just, the light bulbs were hanging like a horror movie. The light bulbs were just hanging. There was no fixture around it. And, the concrete floors were just bare, and it looked like a prison cell. And there was a small table covered in a cloth and an open Bible, and there was a candle there that was burnt out, and salt was scattered on a concrete floor. And salt usually is known for protecting against spirits, I think, evil spirits. And it looks like there was some kind of attempt of a ritual that took place. But as these police officers witnessed these events, the testimonies of the children that were, stories of them getting flung against the wall, adults that go down to the basement, feel like they're being choked or feels like they're being stabbed. They would see demonic shapes, and they call them shadow men, which I think I've seen those before. I think we talked about it in the previous podcast. They saw a black hooded monster appear before them, something of a withered old lady with red eyes and a hood, and the house bleed like this oil, which I think is called ectoplasm, and the children were convulsing and were chanting what they called satanic verses. And I guess it was all on video. That part was on video. I didn't see that part, but the officers were scared, and they didn't know what was going on. They were there for a CPS case, and they're all convinced that this is real. And it's amazing to think that us humans have a power to call upon something so powerful into a home. That's a home, that's somebody's home. And I think someone else, after the priest had exorcised the house, I think other people moved in. But it's amazing how we can open these portals into these evil, dark locations. And I know it's common for I guess it's kind of like real life, where you're negative all the time. You kind of attract negative people or negative influences, and you pick up on negative influence, and your whole life is negative. And I guess it's like that in the spirit realm, and I guess we kind of clash, the spirit realm and the living, and we invite negative entities that we can only explain with our knowledge as a demon or a ghost or a shadow person. And it always seems like they're trying to scare the person that invited them into the realm, into the room, into the house. If they're shape-shifting into something that would cause fear, then these entities are conscious or self-conscious, and they're self-aware, and they know that they are causing panic and disarray and fear. They almost as if they feed on that. So that's their whole purpose of existing, is to generate fear, almost if like they're feeding off that. And she talks about praying, and apparently they don't like praying. And I think that's when she said that she felt that there was something choking her. And it looks like and there was also an instant where one of the police officers had went back to their car, and the driver's seat was just moving back and forwards by itself, and whatever it was following the police officer even back to a squad car. And I guess they also took pictures, and he said when they took pictures of, I guess, for evidence, it appeared that he was surrounded by figures that he had seen when he was walking down the stairs. So almost like they were surrounded by negative entities. And it even gets a little weirder. So the police officer, it says, he said that he had enough of this garbage, that he was leaving the property, and he went to the gas station to make a phone call. And he had his radio and the squad car dash radio, his police cell, and his iPhone. And he was looking at the pictures that he had taken on his iPhone. And when he made his call, he heard a sudden growl, a voice coming from the radio. And it said, "You out of here." So whatever it was knew that this entity followed this police officer to the gas station and knew he was scared. Almost like they're teasing him, leaving so soon kind of thing. Which sounds a little, what if these were just like evil spirits instead of, I don't know if a demon would, I don't know. So he heard it on the radio as he walked out. I guess, this was just a weird situation for police officers to be involved in. And it looks like the mother would try everything to stop these possessions from happening, even using a crucifix, like in the movies, on the forehead. And I guess you would do that. I guess in real life, if this is happening, first of all, you're probably freaked out. Second of all, you're seeing things that just throws you off. You're seeing, shadows, and your children are convulsing and saying weird things in Latin, and what are you going to do? Well, the only thing you see in the movie is a cross, and so you're going to grab a cross. You figure you're in this situation. You figure that, the only thing in this situation to do is to what you see on a movie. And you would pray and you would bring out the crucifixes. And it's all kind of the telltale signs of a haunted place. The ectoplasm, the stuff that come, the weird goo, the shadow people that appear, the voices in the radio following them. And I guess when you're dealing with not so much spirits, but when you're dealing with demons, it's different. It's much more difficult to exorcise. And he also says that you're sometimes you might invite a guest from another realm and they don't want to leave. Of course they don't want to leave. Where they come from, who knows? The darkest depths of an alternate reality, and you've come to a place like this, you're like, oh, there's people here and I can scare them, and I can have power over these people. Why would you leave? So I guess it turns out that at the very end, the children were taken to the hospital after the priest had done what he could to keep them, to exorcise the demons that were within the house and that were messing with the children. And they all moved out. The priest blessed the house, and no one ever really returned back. But it turns out that another family had moved in, but there was no signs or there was no reports of anything weird happening. Imagine moving in that house. You would definitely probably come across something. Things like that don't just leave; they come back. Apparently, if you've seen other shows or other stories, those things will come back. I always thought about that. What if you get a good deal on a house, and some people would. If you get one of those beautiful Victorian homes, would you try to run the spirits out, or stay there? And what if they were so evil that you just couldn't sleep and they were bothering you and they would do things and force you to move out? Or would you stay and fight and try to and is there a way to do that? Can you get rid of for good a demon or a spirit who doesn't want to leave their home? It's amazing what we discover and how people are so interested in opening gateways and opening, and you may not believe it, but you still don't. Why would you mess with it? Why would you open a door that, I know it's curiosity, but you open a door that leads into the darkness. Why would you? I think we see too much TV, and we think that they're going to give us powers. I think they use that idea back then was you can get a certain power from a spirit or a demon, but I would even not want to open any door. There hasn't been any stories of people falling into that door. One comes out and you go in. That'd be kind of weird. I think we would learn really quick. I wonder if there's going to be a time where scientists start studying afterlife more and study other realms and other dimensions that house these beings, these entities, and how it seems that there's isolated incidents, but what if there's a way to communicate with them? What would we learn? Would we learn anything? If you were a cat, you actually communicate with a demon, or is it all just hate and violent and hatred, or is there a purpose? Where do they come from? Where are they born? Who made them? What are they, the origins? How do you study that? How do you study this dark world? What do they? I wouldn't want to even think about what it's like in wherever they come from. And like I said, I don't like to get too much into religion, but there's you cannot deny that there's plenty of stories out there of the spirit realm and entities that are apparently ancient and older than us, that's been around longer than us. So these might be ancient beings from a time where who knows their existence and how they came to. It's something that science hasn't studied, and it just remains folklore, when in fact I think it's much more than that. So apparently, the one of the key things of casting out a demon would be to figure out the name, and once you tell them their name, it's almost like that they're being caught, that they have to, by a certain rule, they have to leave. So maybe that's one of the ways that they got rid of the possession. And that's weird how they all know Latin. You see movies where these entities speak Latin, so I guess it shows that they've been around for a while. It's weird how they always resort to Latin. But yeah, I mean, I would look it up if you're interested in gateways. In anywhere, I guess you look, there has to be a gateway. I'm pretty sure it doesn't matter where you're at, where you're from. I guess we have that capability of opening doors. And what if there's something opposite? I wonder if there's a way to open if there's a negative gateway, a portal. Is there a positive portal? Let's open one of those, right? What if there's something but nice? Let's bring all the good angels in instead of bringing the bad ones in. Let's open positive portals, and let's get some positiveness. I would like to be possessed by a positive angel. Wouldn't you? I don't know. That's it for the scary talk. I kind of get freaked out. It's kind of late at night, and I don't want to get too much into this story because I don't have nightmares. So we'll see you soon. This whole idea about us living in a simulation, it constantly, I'm always thinking about it, but now that I realize, it may not be as just like the Matrix is, a simulation. Maybe it's like that whole theory of an outside force either injecting us or somehow accelerated evolution for us, because we moved so fast as humans, and we develop so fast, and we discover things, and our science and our technology is getting better, and we move so fast that we think to ourselves, how did we get here so fast? And did it just start? And when things start abruptly like that, it's kind of like a dream. It's like you're there, you're like, we're here, and we can see evidence of us being here a long time ago, but just that transition. It takes millions of years, but how did we get to where we're at? And it might even be extraterrestrials that started it, that pushed us along, that I wouldn't say create, but maybe accelerated and moved things. And I guess that would be a type of simulation, not so much a virtual simulation. Maybe it goes beyond virtual, maybe it goes organic with DNA. I mean, coding our DNA. So our DNA is coded. And maybe there's some type of computer out there, a mega computer, that somehow really generates our DNA or rewrites it, and I don't know, somehow accelerates it or programs it. We have the whole reason we have a life cycle, I guess, from we're born and then we die. I mean, what if there was no code that told us? There's a code that there's something in our bodies that are written in there, so we're not meant to last forever. So it's almost like, here's your born code and here's your how you die. Here's the code, and it's just the nature of things. Now, since we're living in a simulation, you would figure that whoever's in charge, or you figure this computer will somehow stop us from advancing or progressing to a certain spot or a certain height of technology, where we can bypass our destinies, are not our destiny, but we can bypass that life cycle where we can live on forever. We keep replacing organs, or we enter a new code that tells us how to stop the body from aging. And that is, if we were living in a simulation, I would think that the programmers would even erase that, or even start tweaking our minds, erasing things, or maybe putting us in another direction, rather than solving immortality or leaving this planet, moving to a different planet that will sustain us as we kill this planet. Or even, why would that simulation even bring that scenario where it's like we discover fossil fuels that will eventually start destroying the ozone layer, and then getting too hot where it sustains us. So that whole living in a simulation, I think things would have been more uniform. I think things would be more predictable. Things would be more foreseeable if we were in a simulation. There's no way it could be that whole free will thing. Even if God, we were created by something. Even I don't like to talk too much about religion, but a creator would give his creations free will. So it's like, here you go, you're on your own. But that defeats the purpose of a simulation, doesn't it? Or does it? Here I made the simulation for you. Do what you will, but it's not going to last forever. So I mean, maybe simulation is. It's all bio and it's organic, and it's set with rules. Gravity, up is up, down is down, or who knows, And I think we get too confused with like the Matrix or something of that nature, where there's an actual reality and then there's a reality that's almost like as if we're being hijacked. I don't think we're being hijacked. I don't think our bodies were hijacked unless it happened to a set of humans where they were either taken and put on another planet and then started the stimulation from, human 0 to human 1 till now. So, I mean, what if that'd be a different simulation? It'd be a different situation, rather. It'd be a set of us who are living in the real world, which is probably us right now, you listening to me or any other podcast, but we would probably be in the real world, and the simulation would be much more artificial. And I think as humans, we would be able to find, unless we were taught at a young age, this is real, this is the rules, when in reality, in this reality that we're in, this quote unquote simulation, to even bring up the idea that we're in a simulation would probably be erased for the others who are in a simulation. It's confusing. It's a big rabbit hole, I know, but it's confusing, and it's something you should think about. Don't lose your mind over it. So I looked up some stuff on the internet, and there are 16 reasons why we might be living in a simulation. And they bring up the Mandela effect, which is, I think it's just us getting confused with like the whole Shazam and Kazam. Like Kazam was the movie with Shaquille, and Shazam was like a short with the other comedian. So I don't know. I think the whole Shazam thing is as part of the Mandela effect. I think that's just confusion. I don't think that's two realities crossing into one, because we remember things as kids, and when we were, facilities, we go in a building, it's much bigger than we thought it, and then when we go back into that same area or see that same statue or see that same building, it's much smaller. And as we're kids, so I don't know, growing up, we get confused, and so there's that Mandela effect, which I don't know. I don't think that proves anything. Another one interesting topic, he brought up missing aliens and why I guess in this person who wrote this, his opinion was we haven't found any aliens. Well, for us believers out there, there's plenty of proof. So that kind of just scratches out missing aliens as part of a reason why we are living in a simulation. Right now we're pre-arrival, but we all know that they're here. It's just a matter of time that they reveal themselves. Now, they go into science about, but you can't really prove science. You can't really, this author of this article can't really, be qualified as a scientist and using science as a way to explain a theory of simulation. He brings up the DNA that contains a computer virus. Well, that's another thing. So our cells and the way things are created and the way things are structured, there's a code that's in our DNA, and we read that, and our bodies are reading that. And I mean, that's a good hypothesis that, everything's coded in our DNA. So something had to create that, right? Something was created, a code was inputted in, and our bodies are able to read that code and decide what to do with a foreign virus, or if that virus is programmed to destroy cells, and our body are programmed we can't, unless, with the modern technology, we have vaccines and everything, but our bodies are not, the only way our bodies can can upload a new software or something is with vaccines, rather than, with the code. We the new software is a vaccine, and when we upload it, it's injected into us, and our body reads that code and fights it off a virus a different way. Climate change, I mean, that could be part of the process. Part of the cycle code, how long we're supposed to last on a certain planet before it gets you. And you would figure that these creators are able to recreate life and restart again. So I mean, there's a beginning to the end, and if it's a big experiment, there's going to be an end of an experiment. Unfortunately, it's for us. So whether we find out that death is us, the code being completely erased, it's not going to really matter. We're not going to even realize we're dead. So I'm not talking about religion, but if you go that route, we'll soon find out that once we pass on, or maybe the code takes a while to delete. So we're around for a while till our code finally disappears. I don't know. Code, soul, that again, I don't know. That's what if our soul is a code? We don't know. Maybe that code is just around and they haven't figured a way to erase the code. They can just create a code. Who knows? The creators or God or whoever have you. As technology increases, things are going to get easier to replicate and to make more realistic. So yeah, I mean, we might even choose to live in a simulation. Maybe the simulation's way better than reality. Because with a simulation, you want to live on an island, live on an island. You want to live in a jungle, live in a jungle. If you want to live somewhere that's just completely science fiction, why not? If it's better than the real world, I might choose simulation. I don't know. Some people want to live in the real world, and some people may want to live in a simulation. Who knows? And, he brings up, it's not really possible to not prove we're in a simulation. I mean, if we are, then it's just... technology will be so advanced that we would not be able to tell if we were or not. But then again, we shouldn't be able to even think of the idea of simulation. I would think there's some kind of control over our thought process. And at the same time, what if the whole idea was to create Earth to somehow it's livable? I mean, there's some beautiful parts of the Earth. And when you're born in a certain location, you get used to that. That's your home. It's meant to be this way it can't be perfect all the way around. Maybe some places have to be more better than the others. That way it gives us humans, I don't know, a goal or a drive to relocate or to rethink our destiny while we live our lifespans. Maybe these rules of people who get rich and the poor is part of the code. People always want to get rich because they think it's better. They don't have to worry about food or survival in most cases. And he also talks about, ghosts. Is that are there glitches in the simulation? Well, they might be. When our body dies and the code, our soul moves on. The soul, our code. I'm gonna write a book called Soul Code. The code of our souls are just lingering around there. Maybe they're glitches and they dissipate after a while. I don't know. Maybe that's what we're seeing, a glitch or our process of being erased from the reality. And as technology increases, living in a simulation might be more preferred. So we'd be in a simulation, living in a simulation. And that's a rabbit hole right there. It's like, am I awake from this simulation and into another simulation? Oh God, you lose your mind. I don't know. Those are the kind of things that it doesn't really keep me up at night, but when I do think about it, I really start to worry. But I try not to, because I think we have to focus on now and our survival now. And we can always hypothesize and theorize, but don't let it take over your body. Focus on positive things. Live in the now. Be happy. Be fruitful. Focus on your life or others if you are trying to help someone else. And don't worry about the arrival for the Star Children shall arrive when it's time, and everything's going to work out and everything will be content. And even if we're part of a code, I'm sure the creators have created a simulation afterlife where we can just live on simulating and we all live happily ever after. It doesn't have to be dark and grim. I think that's just a creation of who we are. I think in reality, things are going to be all right. Till then, children of the cosmos, you guys be safe out there. Thank you so much for listening. If you would like to contribute to the cause, you can donate to my PayPal. It's at paypal.me/UE podcast. That's /UE podcast. Or you can become a supporter for only 99 cents, and it will help me sustain future episodes. You can visit my podcast website at anchor.fm/U-E. That's anchor.fm/U-E. And you can take a look at the other episodes we have there. You can send me a message, tell me how I'm doing, or any ideas for future episodes. Till then, children of the cosmos, be well, be content, for the universe has great plans in store for you. See you soon. Good night.